everybody. Welcome to this Let's Speak English live class on Twitch. My name is Hannah and I am one of the coaches here at Let's Speak English, and I'm super excited and happy to be back on the Twitch and teaching you some Inglés útil para el día a día. So today we are going to analyze some native English, and hopefully you will learn a lot from today's little live session. So today vamos a aprender inglés con friends. I hope you, as an English learner, have watched series or films in their original version. I can't stress enough the importance of doing this to help you improve your language skills. Super important. So from watching series in English, you can learn so much about the natural way that natives speak. Things that you won't learn in the classroom, things that you won't learn in a textbook or anything. Okay, so those kind of everyday conversations, everyday topics, you know, del día a día, and those are the kinds of things that you can pick up and that you can learn in a series or a film. And a lot of the time, sadly, I hear people say things like, pero yo quiero relajarme cuando veo series, no quiero esforzarme o preocuparme por entender el inglés cuando quiero ver algo. Y pues esa actitud tiene que cambiar. Okay, watching series, I understand, you know, maybe you've had a long day at work and now you want to relax, you don't want to think, but if learning English is a priority for you, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the effort to study and improve, right? So I'm sorry, you don't get to relax, okay? Studying English is an active thing, and watching series in original version, in their original English version, it's an active studying process that you have to do. So I'm sorry, you don't get to chill out and relax, okay? For me, watching series has been really beneficial. I've learned a lot of slang, a lot of little toquecitos nativos, para decir. In Spanish, for example, it's helped me so much. Recently, I watched Machos Alfa. It was hilarious, but it was very difficult. But I watched it with a notebook and I was pausing it all the time to rewind and get more vocabulary. So today we're going to analyze a really short clip from the series Friends. La serie mítica. Everybody knows and loves Friends, and you'll be surprised just how much useful vocabulary we can acquire from this very short, I think it's 3-minute clip, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and start watching a little clip from Friends, and let's just see, you know, exactly what we can learn from a very short clip of Friends. So this is a clip from season 5, all right?
Hi.
Hi. What's wrong, buddy?
Someone at work ate my sandwich.
Well, what did the police say?
My Thanksgiving leftover sandwich. I can't believe someone just ate it.
My Thanksgiving leftover sandwich. So when we talk about leftovers, we're talking about the sobras. So his leftovers from Thanksgiving, that's that holiday in the United States that they celebrate in sometime in November, where they usually eat like a big meal of turkey and different vegetables, potatoes. It's a very delicious meal. It's similar to a meal that we would eat at Christmas time in the UK and Ireland. But it's his Thanksgiving leftovers, and he is very upset, it appears, because someone has eaten his leftovers, his sandwich that has his leftovers. So let's keep watching. And
Ross, it's just a sandwich.
Just a sandwich? Look, I am 30 years old, okay? I'm gonna be divorced twice and I just got evicted. That's...
So pay attention to Ross's, you know, natural, quick spoken English I'm 30 years old. I'm gonna be divorced. There's that use of gonna. It's so important. It's, essential, this use of gonna. Going to. So he said, I'm gonna be divorced. O sea, me voy a divorciar. He's complaining about his life. But he doesn't say, I'm going to be divorced, because the truth is, no one speaks like that in real life. So if you can't understand gonna, and if you can't use gonna, then you're never going to achieve like a native feel for your English, not in listening nor in speaking. So Ross here, he's like, I'm gonna be divorced, and listen to how fast it comes off. I'm gonna be divorced. I'm gonna be divorced. I am going to be divorced. So I've said this before, native speakers, actually we speak very fast and it's through this contractions and adding all the sounds of the words all together. So let's keep going.
Sandwich was the only good thing going on in my life.
So here he says that sandwich was the only good thing going on in my life, okay? If I say the only good thing going on in my life, it's like lo único bueno que pasa en mi vida. So it's interesting in English, and let's put this one in the chat. Lo bueno, the good thing. So when in Spanish you would say lo bueno, lo malo, lo interesante, lo importante, and so on, in English we always need to say the adjective thing. So lo malo, for example, lo malo es que the bad thing is the bad thing, or the interesting thing, the important thing. Okay, let's put them in the chat. So that's an interesting one, and that's a common mistake actually that sometimes I hear my students say. A student might tell me, oh, well, the important is that so and so. But we have to say that important thing. So for Ross, that sandwich was the only good thing he had in his life at the moment. And that's a good phrasal verb. The only thing I had going on in my life. So in this case, go on as a phrasal verb has a lot of meanings. A lot of meanings. But here it's just like pasar, okay? Lo bueno que pasa en mi vida. Lo único bueno que pasa en mi vida. The only thing that's the only good thing that's happening in my life. The only good thing that's going on in my life. Per Ross. He's such a drama queen. Complaining this much about a sandwich. Like, come on, man, get over it. But let's keep watching. What else has he got to complain about?
Someone ate the only good thing going on in my life.
Okay, look, I have enough stuff for one more sandwich. I mean, I was gonna eat it myself, but...
There's that use of gonna again from Monica. I was gonna eat it myself. I was going to eat it myself.
Oh, that would be incredible. Thank you so much. I still can't believe someone ate it. I mean, look, I left a note and everything.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Ross Geller's lunch.
When we talk about that, that's like a common joke in English. Knock, knock. Tuk, tuk. Okay, so knock, knock. Who's there? Ross Geller's lunch. So this is really stupid. It's just a note that he left on top of his sandwich so that no one would eat it.
Ross Geller's lunch? Who? Ross Geller's lunch? Please don't take me, okay? I'm surprised you didn't go home wearing your lunch.
Okay, look, you want to hold on to your food, you got to scare people off. I learned that.
Wow. Let's listen to that again.
Okay, look, you want to hold on to your food, you got to scare people off. I learned.
Wow, we listen to Phoebe. You want to hold on to your food? You gotta scare people off. So we've got two quick contractions there. Let's put them into the chat. You want to hold on to your food? So that's a little question. You want to hold on to your food? You gotta scare people off. So let's analyze that first part. You wanna. So technically speaking, this is not entirely grammatically correct. The grammatically correct way would be, do you want to? Of course, in informal conversations among friends, it's pretty normal to say something like this. You wanna? Meaning, do you want to? So, want often contracts to wanna, okay? So, do you want to? You wanna? Do you want to hold on to your food? Okay? And what she's saying there, you want to hold on to. So, to hold on to, it's like, ¿quieres quedarte con tu comida? Okay? So, to hold on to. Do you want to hold on to your food? You gotta scare people off. And I really like this little native touch here. You gotta. Okay? So, you gotta, that's a really informal and maybe a really American one. You gotta. And that actually, it means tienes que. Okay? And let me explain how that means tienes que. O sea, you have to. So, if you remember, have and have got are the same thing. So, you have, it's the same as saying you have got. There's no real difference in the two of them, right? So you have to is, you can also say you have got to. And that's following that same logic, okay? You have to, you've got to. So we contract got to become gotta. And here Phoebe just omits the have part entirely. Maybe it's there because she's speaking so quickly. You might hear people say, you've gotta, but in fast, informal spoken conversations like this, you gotta. So, you want to hold on to your food? You gotta scare people off. And there's another great phrasal verb. So just in one sentence from Phoebe, look at all the vocabulary that we can extract from this. It's awesome. So, you gotta scare people off. Tienes que asustar a la gente. To scare someone off, to scare off, okay, or to scare someone off. Let's go back and analyze what Phoebe said. Let's listen to it one more time. How fast she speaks and all the contractions and everything. It's amazing.
Okay, look, you want to hold on to your food, you got to scare people off. I learned that.
Amazing. So if you can understand that, we can say you're a pro.
At living on the street.
Really? So what would you say, Phoebes? Stuff like, keep your mitts off my grub.
This is his idea of scaring someone off. Keep your mitts off my grub. Mitts is like a slang word for hands, believe it or not. So keep your mitts off. So to keep we would say sometimes keep your hands off something. And it's basically saying, mantén tus manos lejos de mi comida. Because grub is a very colloquial slang way to refer to food. Okay? So he's saying, keep your hands off my food. So let's see what Phoebe advises him. And listen to that verb advises. Aconsejar, to advise. Or what advice she gives him. Let's keep going.
Say, Ross, when you picture Phoebe living on the street, is she surrounded by the entire cast of Annie?
Okay, this will keep him away from your stuff.
Whoa! Whoa!
Phoebe, you are a badass.
Phoebe, you are a badass. So, badass, eres una genia. Okay, just a really cool word. Say someone is like scary but cool, or they're just awesome. It's a great word to describe someone. It is very informal, so be careful when you use it. But if you admire someone for doing something, a bit like outrageous but cool, like Phoebe for what she wrote was probably outrageous, you're a badass.
Ross, may I have a word with you?
Oh.
May I have a word with you? So that is the use of may in that kind of formal, polite context. May. Let's put that in the chat. So here he's saying, May I have a word with you? This is a perfect question, although a little bit serious. If someone says that to me, I'm thinking, ooh, ¿qué he hecho mal? It's a little bit serious, okay? Igual me van a regañar o algo así. May I have a word with you? Es un poco grave, okay? It's a little bit serious. So, and this just means, ¿puedo hablar contigo un momento? O ¿puedo hablar con usted un momento? So that kind of may I indicates a higher formality. We could also say, could I have a word with you? Can I have a word with you? But may indicates the highest level of formality, so to speak. So let's keep watching.
Of course, Donald.
We've been getting reports of some very angry behavior on your part.
We've been getting reports on some very angry behavior on your part. I wanted to highlight this use of the passive. It's quite interesting. We've been getting reports of. So it's like in Spanish you would say, nos han informado de un comportamiento muy enfadado por tu parte, por su parte. So it's interesting. He doesn't want to implicate anyone in particular. So in that case, we would always use the passive voice. We don't want to share who the subject is. We just want to say, this has been said. And we're using get here to mean receive. Okay, we've been receiving reports because of course we love the verb to get. It means so many things, right? So we've been receiving, okay. You could also just say we have received, we have got, or an American would say we've gotten because they often use the participle gotten of get. But it's quite interesting use of the passive there because he doesn't want to say exactly who. And the passive is a lot more common in English than you think. So we've been getting reports, we've been receiving reports is exactly the same. So to get often means receive, and it's used more and more in conversational English. Let's keep going.
What? Threatening letters, refusal to meet deadlines. Apparently people now call you mental.
So threatening letters, refusal to meet deadlines. Of course, if we say something is threatening, it's like amenazante. Okay, so something that threatens you, and refusal to meet deadlines. And I quite like that collocation, to meet a deadline. Of course, a deadline is the date that you have to hand in, entregar un proyecto, no sé qué. So the deadline. So we say to meet a deadline, it's like cumplir basically con la fecha de entrega. O sea, entregar algo antes de esa fecha significa to meet a deadline, right? So he is refusing, okay, to meet his deadlines. Refuse, denegar, okay? Wow. So how does Ross react to this? Let's have a look and let's see. Analyze his English, of course.
Yeah.
We want you to speak to a psychiatrist.
What a great grammatical structure. The accusative, very important one. We want you to speak to a psychiatrist. Queremos que hables, okay? Queremos que hables con un psiquiatra. All right. We want you to speak to a psychiatrist. So it's not we want that you speak with a psychiatrist, because that's what I hear a lot of the time from my students. But the accusative in English, that kind of subjunctive vibe in Spanish, it's way easier. And this is why English natives who learn Spanish have a really hard time with the structure. We want you to speak to a psychiatrist. Queremos que hables, okay? So with the accusative, we just put the infinitive. We put our subject and then the infinitive. And that's it. We want you to speak. Easy. So they want Ross to speak to a psychiatrist because of his threatening messages and his behavior at work. Let's keep going.
Oh, no. You don't understand. Ugh, this is so silly. This is all just because of a sandwich.
A sandwich?
Yeah, you see, my sister makes these amazing turkey sandwiches. Her secret is she puts an extra slice of gravy-soaked bread in the middle.
Just to give a little context here, gravy soaked bread, pan empapado en salsa. So gravy is like a salsa, a sauce that is typically part of the Thanksgiving dinner, okay? So bread soaked in gravy in the middle of this sandwich. That's what he's saying. That's why he loves this sandwich so much.
Of gravy-soaked bread in the middle. I call it the moist maker.
I hate that word in English. That's probably my least favorite word. The moist maker, okay? Moist is like mojado, okay?
Anyway, I put my sandwich in the fridge over here. And
You know what? I'm sorry. I believe I ate that.
you ate my sandwich?
It was a simple mistake. It could happen to anyone.
Listen to how fast his boss spoke there. Like, did you get that? Let's listen to it again.
It was a simple mistake. It could happen to anyone.
It's a simple mistake. It could happen to anyone. It's a simple mistake. It could happen to anyone. It's a simple mistake. It could happen to anyone. Could it though? What do you think? Could it happen to anyone eating the wrong lunch in the work fridge, even with a note? I don't think Ross is very happy about this.
Really? Did you confuse it with your own turkey sandwich with the moist maker?
No.
Do you perhaps remember seeing a note on top of it?
There may have been a joke or limerick of some kind.
He says there may have been a joke or a limerick of some kind. That's an interesting vocabulary, a limerick. Limerick is a city in Ireland, but a limerick is a type of poem, like a funny poem, poema gracioso. So he says there may have been, okay, puede que haya habido, a limerick of some kind. So you can see his boss getting a little bit nervous now. He's being accused. So how does Ross take this news? Let's keep watching and let's analyze it.
Said it was my sandwich.
Now calm down.
Cálmate, calm down. To calm down, calmarse. And when you're telling someone using the imperative, calm down, cálmate. Ross does the opposite, we're gonna see.
Which?
Now calm down. Come look in my office. Some of it may still be in the trash.
Oof, this one hurts. Some of it may still be in the trash. There's a use of may again, but this time may meaning like podría or puede. So, you know, alguna parte del bocadillo puede estar todavía en la basura. Okay, in the trash, because Americans, they like to use the word trash rather than rubbish, which is what I would use. So part of it may still be in the trash. Oh dear.
What?
Well, it was quite large. I had to throw most of it away.
You threw my sandwich away.
You threw my sandwich away. You threw my sandwich away. Another great phrasal verb, to throw away. To throw away just means tirar or desechar. So, and he says it there. We hear it both uses. Oh, I had to throw some of it away. There's again that had to. So, tenía que tirar alguna parte de ello. And Ross says, you threw my sandwich away in the past. So throw and in the past is threw. And this is, Ross said, you threw my sandwich away, but you could also say, you threw away my sandwich. It's one of those ones where it doesn't matter where you put like the different particles of the phrasal verb. You can separate it up. How does this end?
You threw my sandwich away. My sandwich? My sandwich?
Uh, and there we have it. So that clip of Friends was just under 4 minutes long, okay? 4 minutes of a clip of a series in English, and look how much amazing vocabulary and little things that we got to analyze from just that one section. So can you see how useful it is to watch series in English, but how you have to actively watch them, okay? It has to be a part of your study schedule. You have to open it, your notebook and your pen, and be following that whole series with your, searching up words and everything. So that's how important it is. Let's have a look at all this vocabulary. Remember at the start we talked about the good thing, the bad thing, the important thing, lo bueno, lo malo, lo importante. We talked about to go on, which means pasar in this case, to hold on to something, literally like aguantar, but also like quedarte con algo. Do you want to? You gotta scare people off. Tienes que asustar a la gente. And got to becomes gotta, or you have got to becomes you gotta. Keep your mitts off my grub. Keep your hands off my food. The use of may in a polite request. May I have a word with you? Puedo hablar contigo? To meet a deadline, of course, to deliver a project before a certain date. And a limerick being a funny poem. So look at all that vocabulary that we got in 4 minutes. Can you imagine how much useful vocabulary, everyday vocabulary you could learn if you watched a full episode? So I think you should definitely start watching series in English. Thank you to those who joined this little class today. And remember, the link to our online academy, the gym, está fijado en el chat, que tenemos clases de lunes a viernes a todos los niveles. Y si quieres marcar una diferencia en tu inglés este año, te recomiendo que te apuntes. Tienes toda la información que necesitas ahí en el enlace. Y pues nada, muchas gracias por ver y nos vemos en clase. Bye bye.